Logic Pro's interface can be broken up into 7 areas. So let's just look at those areas first. Along the top here, this is our navigation area. From the left, we have our presets. Then we have our track properties. Track properties will change depending on the track that you select. After track properties, we then have this track area where we can continuously add tracks. The highest I've ever had this up to is probably about 30 tracks, but I believe you can have as close to 200 tracks if you need them. You then have this sequencing area. Then you have your media area. And then finally you have your editing area and mixing console. So let's just break this down one at a time, starting with our control bar. Along the top here, we have all the common settings for looking at controlling our screen properties. From the left, we can actually open or close any of these windows. Then we have our transport controls. So from this area here, wherever we put our playhead, we can press play. We can press stop. We can press record. Press stop. We can press stop twice to take it back to the beginning. We can use the nudge forward and nudge backward buttons to nudge the playhead. We can look at general data about our sequence, including time, including the properties of the actual track itself, tempo and time signature. We have our looping buttons, as well as our count in and our metronome. We then have our media area, which is this area here. We can close that completely. This area here looks at all of the properties from our track. We have our note-taking area. Each track has its own notes, so you can see that as we move through, or you can have project notes. This button here looks at loops. The blue ones are for audio tracks. The green ones are for MIDI software instrument tracks. And then we have our proper media where we can import songs, or we can import more loops, and we can access other areas of our actual computer. Down the bottom we have our media editing area. So if we select a software instrument, you'll notice that we can select individual notes and we can move them around, or we can delete them and we can do whatever we need to. If we select an audio channel, we have other properties and we can now edit audio. If you want to see the full overview of the mixer, you can come up to these areas and open up the mixer. It will open up in the editing area. That concludes the overview. We will look further into detail at these windows, but that's the general overview for how it works.